I'll tell you the story the way Reb Fala Khan writes it. There are different versions to the story, but it's all the same Nekuda. Once, to the shul of Harav Tzadik HaKodesh of Yisrael Nerushin. He's, by the way, one of the few Rebbes that are called Kodesh, holy. They all were holy, but only a few got that appellation. Hashem Tov HaKodesh and Nerushin. There's another, but it escapes me. So the story is that once into his shul, his beis medrash, that story goes. A yid comes in, and he's. Oh, I actually meant to say another story, but Pashgacha Pratis is this story. Okay, and he's all mavul, he's all in a state of agitation, and he asks if they davened already, because today's the yard site of his father. And he's in the middle of the market, middle of business. He was literally the marketplace. And he remembered in the middle, he wants to say Kaddish. So they told him in a little while they'll daven, and he'll daven with them. Which is what happens. After davening, so the Chevre, the Chassidim said to him, who was sitting there learning in the Beis Medrash, no, give a little bit of money for mashke. As is the minhag, when a person has a yard site, you say l'chaim for the neshama of the departed. He says, okay. He gives him the ruble, and he's running out. He says, where are you going? They say to him, it's your father. So wait till they bring the mashke, and you'll also say l'chaim. Okay, he's going to wait. They bring the mashke, they pour him a small cup. He takes it and he says l'chaim, and he drains the cup, he downs the cup, and he's running out. And the Chassidim start screaming, what? Bracha? Why no bracha? And he says, leave me alone. I have to go back to the market. And they are saying, what do you mean? How did you say without a bracha? This is all tumult. And meanwhile, the Rushna hears it, and he comes out and says, what's the rash? What's the tumult? They told him. So the Rushna says to this Jew, please wait a moment, and I want to tell you a story. He says to him like this, your father, when he came to Elam Elyon and he came before the heavenly court, it wasn't going so well. And after a lengthy back and forth between the accusers and the defenders, the ruling was that your father has to descend in some way back to Elam Hazeh, and his son, that's you, have to find a way to elevate him in some holy manner. And so it was ruled, now this may sound strange to your friends, but I will just briefly address it, that he should come down to the world and to become mashke. It doesn't mean he becomes mashke, but it means that the nefesh is attached to the nitzutz kedusha that's in the mashke. And you should fix and elevate the neshama in this mashke. Now, the accusing angels weren't happy with this ruling, and the Rushna went on to say, he explained to him, how is the mashke made? It's made from grain. So when you sow the wheat or anything else, so many of the seeds fall on the side and don't grow, either because people walk on them, they're trampled by people or the animal. And the accusing angels were trying at every turn, that's their job, that the grain, the seed to which your father's neshama has been attached and connected, should not grow. But the good malachim and the defenders overcame the opposition of the accusing angels. And he ended up being one of those seeds that did grow. Then it comes to the harvest, continues the Ruzhiner. And there's many shibolim, many kernels that fall and don't end up being harvested. And then, stalks rather. And then afterwards, when the person takes the grain out, some fall to the side, and so on and so forth. Continue describing the whole process. And at every step of the process, so the malachim, the good angels, exhorted themselves that everything should go well, and that the nefesh who was connected with this nekuda should end up. And that my dear friend said, the Rushana, to this yid was that little bit of mashke poured into your cup. And had you said the bracha, sha'akal niya bidvaroi, so you would have affected an Eloi, the elevation, the release, the redemption of your father's neshama. And now, consider what you have done by drinking without a bracha. This poor fellow listens to the story and faints, realizing his failure and what he had done. The end of the story is that he wasn't running out back to the marketplace. He remained in the Beis Medrash then and became a chassid of the Ruzhana, and the Ruzhana showed him, he became a big chassid, and also showed him a way through tshuva, a tikkun, not only for himself, but for his father's neshama. End the story. Now the story is highly instructive, and because it's telling us that everything that we encounter, we're not the Ruzhana, so we don't see. We don't have to see, the truth is. Because b'hashgacha pratis, everything that a person encounters in his life, everything we own, everything we engage in, this is because we have the connection to those nitzutzik dusha. Now, whether it's as radical, or not radical, as dramatic as, a dear loved one being connected to that, could be too, we don't know. But even if not, that davar gashmi needs me to elevate it. And what if I don't? So, as at the end of the story tells us, there's through tshuva, and tshuva is able to retroactively redeem all the lost opportunities. But this is an awesome, awareness as we go about our daily lives, eating, drinking, wherever, taking our car, going. This is not stam. We're just wandering around Olam Hazeh doing our little thing. And every physical thing is a divine spark that, and if it ends up in my hands, or I use it, or I own it, or even a temporary engagement, there's a reason for it, because I have to elevate those nitzutzik, those sparks in that time, in that place, in that thing. So it's a tremendous responsibility, and it's also a tremendously joyous thing, knowing that whatever I have is not happenstance, but it's all part of a divine plan. What a great privilege to be able to use the things that God has given me as part of His great purpose to elevate the sparks there. Hence, all things are treated respectfully. And that's why there's no wastage in Yiddishkeit, bal tashchis, no wanton destruction of anything, because everything is a divine spark and everything is part of dir betachtoinim, and each one of us has our indispensable role to play in that. Okay, friends.
Shkayach, have a good day.
You too. Have a wonderful day.